Muito bem, meus amigos, estamos de volta com a Hora Quente e esta noite vamos apresentar um luso-americano que está a dar que falar na comunidade local. É uma das vozes do programa da manhã no Fun 107 e já lá está há 8 anos, mas no programa da manhã faz parte da equipa há cerca de 4 anos. As suas raízes são madeirenses. Ele vem aqui esta noite para falar um pouco sobre a sua carreira. Ladies and gentlemen, the popular morning show host on Fun 107. He's been there for the past 8 years, almost for the past 4 as one of the morning show hosts, and he's been an active member of this community. We all know him and love him. Love, that's a strong word. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Arsenault, better known as Gazelle. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming by.
Obrigado, senhor.
De nada. Muito obrigado por teres vindo. Is that where your Portuguese stopped?
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Obrigado,
it.
senhor.
So, you know, I was born, raised, mostly Portuguese, let's say that, you know, the Vavô scene, and unfortunately, they didn't give me the SD card to be fed in, you know. I can understand it, but the speaking is where I, you know. Yeah. Plus, once you get to middle school and they throw you into the Spanish classes, then it gets all confusing. So that's where I stand.
Now, Chris, most people refer to you as Gazelle, right?
Correct. Yeah.
They don't even know your name is Chris at this point.
Yeah, until now. I mean, that's okay. You know, Chris is the family name. Gazelle is the friend name, community name. But
so,
whatever.
Gazelle, you brought the hat. So CR7.
That's.
Estão aí a ver.
Cristiano. That's it. You know, it would have been nice to have him, you know, bring home the trophy, but what are you gonna do? Maybe in a few years from now.
It's not because he didn't contribute for it.
I mean, you got that right.
What
absolutely.
Was it, 7 goals in the first few games?
In the first few, yeah, just alone. So I mean, hey, it's all right now, though. We still love you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gazelle, so you grew up here in the area, right? You're from Westport?
I'm from Westport, born and raised, back and forth between Fall River and Westport. My grandparents were in Fall River, but for the most part, Westport, all the school systems, all the way up till high school, all Westport.
Excellent. So your roots are Portuguese on your mom's side, right?
Correct, yeah.
And your dad's side?
Is French-Canadian.
French-Canadian, awesome.
So that's where the Arsenault comes in.
Very good. And the Portuguese, your Portuguese roots are from?
Madeira.
Madeira, there we go.
Over São Miguel.
Very good.
We have cousins over there. We visited them a couple of years back. It was the first time visiting the island.
Oh, really?
And it was beautiful. I can't wait to go back.
Was it everything you expected or
yes.
more?
More. More. And we were there for about 9 days, and we actually did about, I want to say 85% of the island. You know, did a lot. Yeah. So it was nice.
Now, were you brought up Portuguese? Was that a staple in the house, eating Portuguese, listening to Portuguese things, or was your mom born here or in Portugal?
No, she was born here.
So that already changes the dynamic.
It was the grandmother,
right?
yeah. So the great-grandmother, the Vavô, and she was the matriarch for years. She lived into her 90s until about a couple of years ago, but she was the, you know, I was with her being raised, you know, as a kid. Yeah. So, you know, I have the scent of kale soup embedded in my nose, you know, the Portuguese scene. The house was, I call it, very Portuguese.
Very Portuguese.
You know, but it was
plastic covered couches.
That's it. You know, I didn't see her in anything else, but other than one of those nightgowns that she wore, you know, day and night. But it was the simple life, and you know, it was the life for me.
Excellent. Now, Chris, your radio career. So, did it start 8 years ago when you went to Fun 107, or did you have a previous internship somewhere, or?
I've done a lot before that.
Before that.
Yeah, music has always been my passion, and I've interned a lot of places, all over the northern seaboard here, and a lot in Vermont, some in Boston. I was with BET, Halogen Records out of Montpelier. And then finally I said, you know, it'd be really nice to get something local around here. Had a friend, Dave Duran, who used to work at Fun 107, is a paramedic now. Good friends of the family got me in and just kind of climbed the ladders from there.
That's
and,
awesome.
you know, you got to start somewhere. And it was just street team, promotions.
Let's go to your background, music. Sure. I know you have various degrees in music, different levels of music.
Yes.
And you play how many instruments?
Between 10 and 13. Like, it's just, I had this, every year was for my resolution, pick up a new instrument and play it. Yeah. You know, even if it was just Mary Had a Little Lamb, learn something on it. But my strong points are piano, alto saxophone, and acoustic guitar.
Excellent. Now, why the music field? Why the degrees that you went for?
When I got to college, I actually was I was a meteorology major, yeah, and I got about 3 years solid, and I made it to junior core. If you can make it to junior core, you know, you got something up in the cabeza. But I mean, it was I went in there with 140 kids in my class, and there was about 21 by the time I went to junior year. It was very difficult. There was no sleep. And I said, you know, like I'm a little miserable with this. It's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I love science and I love math, but I love music. I said, I got to do something. Out of nowhere, this brand new major popped up called Music Business Within the Industry that allowed me to not just explore what some people would just call the rock star life, where you just want to play music and perform. I fell in love with the behind the scenes stuff, the producing, the recording, and just anything with it, the business especially, that has to do with the industry. And I learned quickly, and I was able to graduate within about 2.5 years, a full major.
Fantastic.
So,
and once you left college, did you go directly into the music industry? I
did. That's when while I was in college, I was already dipping my toes into the water, where, again, right out of Burlington, Vermont, you know, Higher Grounds is Higher Grounds to them is like our Xfinity Center, I believe it is. Okay. You know, and then from there, when I moved back home, that's when I said, you know, let's see what radio is about. I did college radio; it was fun. But let's get serious with it. And once I was able to find my, you know, niche with it, I went with the flow.
Excellent. So once you got into Fun 107, what did you start doing there?
It was street team, a lot of promotions. You know, they would send me out on the road to here, there, and everywhere, you know, which is kind of where I've started getting the familiar face wherever I'd go. And then it was about maybe, let's say, 4 years after doing that for a while and organizing the live broadcast, where I started, you know, kind of getting my foot in any door that I could there. I loved the station as a whole. Everybody's a family, you know, and again, like anytime I could help with production, anytime I can help in the promotions department and the sales department, anything you can imagine that ties and glues a radio station together, I wanted to learn. And I did. And one day, they needed someone to run the board for the morning show, and they called me up. I'll never forget, I was also doing HVAC with my father on the side. Here I am, I'm in a crawl space, I got wolf spiders all over me, you know, I'm miserable, it's 90 degrees. And my boss, Michael Rock, good friend of mine, he's like, hey, we're in a pinch, we would love it if you could come in tomorrow and help us with the board. You know, we know that you know our stuff. And I said, yeah, absolutely. And I went right in, and it was difficult because, you know, it was like diving into icy water. You got to just do it.
Absolutely. And, but that's the best way to learn.
That's it. And I knew it was temporary. It wasn't the job. They were out there looking for positions, and I said, you know what? I said, this is my one opportunity. And I remember that whole week I didn't sleep. I stayed there as late as I could. I was the first one there, last one to leave. To make sure I had the mixer and everything else that involves the show down to a science, and really put it right down to editing videos to, you know, help them out. And once they saw that there was a personality there that I didn't even know was there, that's when I was discovered. And they said, you know what? Welcome to the morning team.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
Here we are.
And you guys had big shoes to fill. You, Michael Rock, your current co-host as well.
Abby.
Abby, I'm sorry. So, you know, we went from a generation where the popular show was JR and Sharon.
Of course.
And then, you know, that went, as we know, JR moved on to different pastures, semi-retirement, right? But he's back now.
He came back. He was doing the Back in the Day Cafe for a while, and now he's officially, he is doing news for our AM sister 1420 WBSM. So he's now over there. It's something he'd wanted to do for a while. But it's still good to have him there as part of our family.
Absolutely. So, obviously, Sharon, the unfortunate, you know, tragic situation. But then, you know, you guys proved that hey, we're here. We have a morning show for the new generation, and you guys just fit right in. And everybody listens to the morning show at Fun 107.
It's funny you say that because, you know, I never really thought about this until the last maybe, say, few months or so, that your character on the show, you know, it progresses in time. It changes. And I'll be honest, I was the bachelor. You know, I was the fun guy, always going out on the weekends. You know, I still do here and there, you know. And then eventually I, you know, found a girl and, you know, fell in love, and, you know, I'm happy. So, you know, I just, things change. You know, I'm still young. I'm only 30, but I'm not 21 anymore.
Of course.
And it's nice to be able to feel that change and different, and people still love you for it.
Absolutely.
So.
But you did create a personality for on air that you're recognized all over the place. This year, you're the MC, official MC for the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament. So you kind of grab onto your roots as well to do that gig. But Gazelle is probably the most recognizable name out of the morning show when we talk about going out and community involvement. Not to dog Michael Rock or
no, and you know, I thank Michael Rock every day. Somebody gave him a chance years ago, and he gave me the chance. You know, here, now, and present. So, you know, and it's a team thing. You know what I mean? I'm able to go out there. He's a family man. You know, you respect that. So I'm able to go out there and, you know, carry the brand of the station, and whether I'm having fun or being serious, I came onto that show for one thing. And that was knowing that I could use my voice for good.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's over the years what I've strived to do to a T, you know, whether it's helping the homeless or the Veterans Association, our local LGBTQ community, you know, anything that I can help and use my voice. You know, I tell people, reach out to me.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely, and that's important. And that's something that a lot of hosts nowadays are missing, the fact that their voice is powerful, but you can use it for the right reasons, and a lot use it probably not for the best of reasons. But congratulations to you.
Thank you so much
on doing the good thing with it. Now, you did say you know, you've settled down, you found a girl, but what is this obsession that you guys have with trying to find girls for the interns?
For the interns.
Because I do remember one situation where you guys were trying to set up one of your interns at one point with somebody, and that ended up miserably. Because she was actually taken.
Yes,
right?
I remember that. We were at Buttonwood Park Zoo, and I'll call him right now, Mr. Brian Rose. He's in the promotions department now. He deals with you know, setting up our prizes for us. He does a lot with us, you know, behind the scenes, as well as our live broadcast setups. Brian is actually, he does what I did, you know, before I did the morning show. So, you know, he really stepped up and took on that role. But, you know, he saw a girl, and we said, Brian, why didn't you know, ask her for her number or something? You know, we thought that maybe there was something there. And finds out in the end, she had a boyfriend who maybe wasn't too happy about the situation, but, you know, it was all innocent.
Of course.
But yeah, it was fun.
Now, Gazelle, so you came on the show, you're admitting you're half Portuguese.
I am, correct.
But we want to find out how Portuguese you actually are.
Oh,
you know, you come on an 8-time talk show, you got to play a little game. So I had the Portuguese kids on here a few months ago, and we did the most Portuguese man in the world competition. Brian won that hands down.
Good guy.
Yes, he is. But let's see, you know, I've set up 10 kind of questions here.
Okay.
And let's see how you do. The 10th one is kind of a bonus.
Okay.
So depending on your score here, we'll see how Portuguese you actually are.
Oh boy.
So all you have to do is identify what you're seeing on screen. This first segment is all about food. So let's go to the first image here.
Okay. All right, so you're throwing me a curveball right away, because what I'm seeing is either linguiça or chouriço.
Okay.
And judging right, it looks a little dry. You know what? I'm going to go on a whim and say linguiça, but final answer chouriço.
All right, there you go. I wasn't going to get that technical, honestly. You could have said either one, you would have been fine. And to be honest with you, to this day, I really don't know the real difference between linguiça and chouriço, because I think most people who try to explain it, they're shooting hot air.
I got you.
So let's go to picture number 2. So you got the first one down.
Some blood pudding.
Okay. And Portuguese name.
Oh. You got me. You're going to have to give me an X on that one.
I won't give you an X. I'll give you a half here.
Okay.
Because you did get it. Morcella.
Morcella. That's right. Which actually, I actually find it quite appetizing.
So do I. I mean, it's great. In the Azores, in San Miguel, they pair it up with pineapple. Weird pairing, but got to try it. Don't try the canned pineapple. Try fresh pineapple.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's go to the next picture, the final one, the food stage. Here we go.
Okay. Looks like this is some five-ish.
That's it. You got
it.
So you got 2.5 out of 3 so far. Doing pretty good. Whew. Doing pretty good. All right, Gazelle, let's go to the next segment, which will be about music. And that's your field, but here's one guy. Do you know who this is?
Let's see. It's not Roberto. Is that... Hang on. We're looking at...
He's usually not this dressed up. I can give you a clue.
It's not George Ferrer.
No, I can give you a clue here and say Superman and see if that'll help you out.
Oh, boy. Yeah, the tux is really throwing me off here.
Yeah, he's not usually in a tux. He'll jump on top of speakers, on top of buildings, and start singing. No?
No, I take a pass.
That's an X. That's Mark Dennis.
Oh, Mark Dennis.
Mark Dennis. You've heard of Mark Dennis.
I have, and I DJ weddings, so I should have known this one.
All right, let's go to the next picture. I think you'll get this one pretty easily.
That right there is George Ferrer.
That's it. That's it. Gazelle, the next picture.
Roberto Leal.
There you go. You had already mentioned both of them previously.
Batuper.
So Batuper, there you go. Now, the final segment here, it's just general. We're going to identify here. I know you're Madeiran, but what is this?
That's the Portas da Cidade.
That's it. You can actually make up for that half point and complete it if you tell me where the Portas da Cidade are located, and don't say Fall River.
Oh, over there is in... Okay, hang on. See, I was in Porto Formoso. You head over there. Oh.
If you tell me the island, we'll be fine.
Well, that's in San Miguel.
There we go. Ponta Delgada.
Ponta Delgada, that's right.
That half point has turned into a full point. You only got 1 X so far. You're doing pretty good, Gazelle. Next one in this general category. Who is this historical figure?
Oh, boy. It looks like Christopher Columbus, but I know I'm way off on that one.
Actually, on the way to work, I don't know which way you go to work, but if you go Route 6 from New Bedford over, you know, you'll see his statue there on Pope's Island.
Oh, boy, yeah. St. Vincent?
Nope. Prince Henry the Navigator. Second X there. One more here. This is the final official one. Then we have the bonus. Who is this man?
See the president of Portugal?
That's correct. That'll get you a half point. Do you know his name?
I don't. I knew he was a president. I couldn't think of the name. God, I am the worst.
I'll give you and you're not the worst.
Half point for half Portuguese.
There you go. So Marcelo Rebelo de Souza.
Okay.
All right. And the final one, this is a bonus question.
All right.
It'll eliminate any of the X's you have here. Who is this?
Ronaldo.
There we go.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
So out of 9, because we won't count the 10th one because it's a bonus, you got 1.5 wrong.
Okay.
So we're looking at, you're about an 80 there, 82, 83% Portuguese.
Hey,
Man, congratulations. That's good. That's great.
All right.
That's great. Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Gazelle, what is one of the most embarrassing situations you've had on air to date?
On air to date? Let's see. I once referred to Aretha Franklin as Urethra Franklin. Sorry, Aretha. That's sometimes when you're speaking fast, the words get mixed up.
And that wasn't intentional.
It was not intentional.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because like every day is like a race. There's so much that happens.
Yeah.
And I've done so many shows. I gotta say that we had an older woman call up once. She was in her late 60s, and she was this was years ago when I was just starting. Again, this is the Bachelor era, and she wanted my phone number and she wanted to take me out on a date. And I'm telling you, this lady was about 62 years old, and the things she was saying off the air definitely made me blush a little bit. You know, it wasn't exactly on the air, but you know, it's definitely something that stood out the most. I don't know. I'm a hard rock. Not much, you know, embarrasses me. I don't mind taking a risk, going out, being comical, goofy. That's the thing. You know, be yourself. Have fun. When we're public figures, we know that we get the haters as well. Of course, we can do the best job in the world, but there'll always be the haters. Sure. Have you ever had a situation very unpleasant out in public? In public itself? Yes. Not in public, like in terms of with the radio station?
Yeah,
or
just you as a public figure,
yeah,
and people's reaction sometimes.
No, you know, I'm very close with the Feast Committee. You know, I love working with them. They weren't too happy with me a couple years back. I suggested, hey, let's have a little bit more Portuguese music. You know, they listened and they brought it to the table this year, and they have great acts come over from Lisbon itself, and you know, so it's going to be great. But I try for the most part not to anger anybody.
No, and I don't think that should anger anybody, Chris. And it's a good thing that you said that. And that's when I figured out you were Portuguese at that point, because I didn't know until that point. And that was great. And I think that you did it in a constructive criticism type way, where it made the difference. And in the end, yes, it's the oldest Portuguese feast around.
It is.
It's popular. And what makes it popular is what it brings to bring everybody there. And
I just got to add real quick, you know, what people don't understand is what goes on behind the scenes, like the Feast Committee.
Oh yeah, it's hard.
You know, a heartfelt apology, because maybe I was a little bit too soon with it, a little too stubborn, but you know, once I realized what really goes on behind it and the hard work, I mean, over 100 years to keep that tradition going.
Absolutely.
And, you know, to cater to the capacity of people that go in there, you know, I tip my hat off to them.
Absolutely.
They do an excellent job every single year.
And I mean, there's no other festival around. They are the biggest Portuguese festival in the world.
Of course.
And there's a reason for it. It's a well-oiled machine, and our hats off absolutely to that. But this is me saying, and not Chris, he was right in the way he approached it and the way it was done. And hats off to all of you for continuing this tradition year after year. It's a great festival that we all enjoy. What is the most gratifying thing that you've experienced in your radio career thus far?
The love from the community. You know, I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve sometimes. You know,
that's
I'm
a
big,
small heart.
Yeah. I'm a big guy, but you know, I got my sensitive side, and you know, again, going back to helping out whenever I can, and when it does come together, like at the end of the day, that's what really fills the soul. And I don't care, you know, how much money is involved, none or anything at all. You know, the only thing that I get out of that in the end is just the love of the community. You know, I love where I live. I really do. There's such diversity around here, no matter where you're from. And for me to come from Westport to the big city of New Bedford, I call it the big city. You know, it's different. I grew up around cows and chickens in my front yard, in corn stalks. But I love it. You know, I love the Ave, the noise, the hustle and the bustling, the smells from the bakeries. Just everything comes together. And you know, I love that there's a big Portuguese community around here as well. But most of all, just the outpour of love that I get and support. There's a lot of support behind it. You know, every day I'm writing 2 to 3 blogs and putting it up on the website, hoping that people read it. And the outpour of that people is incredible.
Do people read it? You injected life into a dying Chinese restaurant.
I did.
Which is amazing. They've even remodeled after all of this, which is great.
China Belle, it's still the talk. You know, that was it seems like yesterday, but it was a couple months ago, and I'm still getting emails from corporate. Hey, you know, your story there in China Belle is still the talk of the nation here at Town Square Media. You know, it's used as a example when they have the nationwide, so all the radio stations that they own, they use it, you know, like, hey, these are the stories that people want to read.
They're very local oriented, correct? Town Square.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So this is exactly
what I love. Okay, we're not out there writing about Kim Kardashian. We're not out there, you know.
That is of so much interest. Why not?
And that's the thing, because you can find that information anywhere. But exactly. But you know, you want to find out about a Chinese restaurant that nobody's been in. You know, it's been there for over 50, 60 years. People live next door. They'd never stepped foot in it. Just to find out, when I went in there, I was blown away. The best Chinese food I've ever had in my life. And I'm a foodie. If you haven't figured that out, I love eating food. You know, going here, there, and everywhere. I already ate a lot of food today as it is. You know, and it's it's a fun job. It's a rewarding job.
Absolutely. Everyone has dreams, aspirations, goals. Is there anything you still want to accomplish?
Yeah, you know.
Professionally.
Professionally, yeah. I'd love to maybe someday own my own recording studio. You know, I graduated with a triple concentration: music, business, production, and performance. So, you know, that's everything you need right there.
Absolutely. To
run the business, to run the studio, and to help out the artists that come in there if they need tuning of their instruments, or to maybe help them out with songs and stuff like that. Music, till the day I die, will always be my number one, my passion, you know, and so that's my goal someday. But, you know, right now, as long as I can be involved in the community and wake up the South Coast every single morning, Monday through Friday, 5:30 to 10 a.m., I'd say this is living the dream for me.
How is it getting up in the morning? One of my first radio gigs was the morning show at WJFD.
Yeah?
I don't like waking up really early in the morning, but I did it, and I did it for almost 5 years. How is it?
You know, you open your eyes, yeah, you're going to be tired. I try not to go to bed too late. I aim for 9 p.m.
Yeah. It never works.
It never works, but you know, again, it's the satisfaction of knowing that the job is fun. You can have fun on a job, and that I have a duty to fulfill.
Absolutely, and people expect a lot more from you in the morning because you have to be peppy, you have to be funny, you have to be witty and ready to go. And when you get up at 4 a.m., it's tough. It's tough. But my hat off to you.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much, Gazelle, for coming on the show.
Hey,
Chris Arsenault, for those of you that don't know his name. He is of Madeiran heritage. He's here tonight. Senhoras e senhores, dos apresentadores do programa matinal da Fun 107 aqui de New Bedford, Chris Arsenault, Gazelle, como é conhecido. Thank you very much, Gazelle.
Obrigado,
much success to you. There we go. The 2 words. Do you have any others? Because you can share them now.
Nothing I can say on the air. You know, Belle had a bit of a sailor mouth, but you know, it's all right. You know, I love my Portuguese heritage, and I love you.
Thank you very much, Gazelle, Chris. I'll call you every name of the book now.
Hey, it's okay.
Voltaremos já com mais convidado. Fique connosco.